The DC versus Marvel feud appears to be heating up once again, presumably with each company trying to outmit each other. And now we have shots coming from Henry Cavill himself? Let's discuss.
I watch so you don't have to.
All I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
So not only did Marvel take the opportunity to kick WB and DC while they are down and bring in Henry Cavill for a much talked about cameo as Wolverine, making him the only other person to officially play the character in live action, other than Hugh Jackman, by the way, which is quite an accomplishment when you think about it. What they also did was take a direct shot at their competitors in the actual dialogue of the movie as well, when Deadpool says that they will treat Henry Cavill much better than the shit down the street. The being WB and DC. Damn! Now, I don't have to go into extensive detail about how WB and DC fumbled Henry Cavill as Superman. I mean, the guy was literally born for the role. Even some people who don't necessarily care for his interpretation can agree on that. He's expressed a love and admiration for the character on more than one occasion. And I always think back to that day where Henry Cavill gleefully announced his return to the role. And it was probably the last time that DC had an overwhelmingly positive buzz surrounding their brand. So naturally, in typical DC and WB fashion, what did they do? They f***ed it all up. If there is one thing that WB has proven to be really good at, it's somehow being even more incompetent creatively than their more financially successful big brothers down the street. And as a massive DC fan all my life, it really pains me to say that. I mean, don't get me wrong, growing up as a kid, I loved both brands equally, but I always felt like the DC brand was more ripe for mature storytelling, something that they have gotten right on occasion when they find a director with a vision and get out of his way. And Henry Cavill was a part of that. His version of the character is often viewed as a deeper, more philosophical version of the character, and many people were looking forward to seeing his story continue, only for WB to initiate yet another reboot of the DC cinematic universe, all in an effort to play catch up with Marvel. And ironically, this has led to even more people turning their backs on WB and DC because of the way that they treated Henry Cavill.
Not up in here!
Not up in here!
It also led to their more financially successful big brother from down the street, who they desperately want to be, recognizing Henry Cavill's worth and inserting him into Deadpool and Wolverine to much fanfare. Marvel is once again making DC look like complete idiots by utilizing their own stars better than they did. But it didn't stop there. Now that Deadpool and Wolverine has been out for a couple of weeks, those spoilers are starting to become public knowledge, with the actors themselves starting to come forward and talk about their experiences on this film. And now we can add Henry Cavill to that list. Henry Cavill posted a picture of himself as Wolverine on his Instagram page with the caption, quote, "To be safe, I shaved the mustache off for this one. Just the mustache." This is, of course, a playful jab at the Mustache Gate controversy that took place with Justice League, where Henry Cavill was instructed to do Justice League reshoots by WB so Joss Whedon could further dismantle Zack Snyder's film while he was on hiatus. The problem was Henry Cavill now had a mustache that he had grown while filming Mission Impossible Fallout, and Paramount refused to adhere to WB's demands and didn't let him shave it off. And this led to the all-time bonehead creative decision to awkwardly remove the mustache with CGI in post-production.
What the hell am I looking at? When does this happen in the movie?
Now, WB could have took this as a sign to not meddle in another director's vision. Instead, they spent millions of dollars, according to reports, on a scene that ended up looking terrible in the final film. Now, Henry Cavill doesn't strike me as the type to hold grudges. I think he's a bigger person than that. But I do think that WB and DC deserves all of the negativity that is still coming their way to this day as it pertains to how they handled the Henry Cavill situation. Exposing the clown show that is WB creative, whether that be in a playful or more aggressive way, is welcomed.
Get what you deserve!
As much as I wasn't personally a fan of Deadpool and Wolverine, I can't help but take a little bit of pride in the way that film has allowed Henry Cavill to have the platform that he always deserved, even if it's not for the role that we all envisioned. I've often said that I can't picture anyone else in the role of Wolverine other than Hugh Jackman, and I stand by that. But gun to my head and someone asks me to pick another actor or I die, I'm probably going to pick Henry Cavill. Once again, he looks the part, and I do feel like he would bring a level of sophistication and love to the role, being a massive nerd himself. A level of sophistication and love that WB rarely allows people to achieve anymore under their banner.
Why are you the way that you are?
At the end of the day, I still believe that WB needs Henry Cavill more than Henry Cavill needs WB. And even though this was only a cameo role, and that's all it was ever really supposed to be as far as we know, the reaction to it shows you that most fans and audience members are on Henry's side. He has a likability to him that made people fan cast him in the role to begin with. So big shout out to Henry Cavill, who continues to prosper after years of being underutilized and underappreciated at WB. Now, anyone who's been watching me for any amount of time knows that I'm not exactly impressed with Marvel creatively either. But at the very least, they appear to have a little bit of an understanding of what their audience wants. They had to come to this realization after a series of failures, but they know nonetheless. Will they be able to continue that momentum? I am skeptical, but I'll wait and see what happens. But I give them at least a little bit of props for giving Henry Cavill and his legacy the respect that it deserves. And they did so by giving his fans a moment that they've all been clamoring for.
Y'all be cool. Right on.